Good evening. Welcome to another episode, a special Wednesday night episode of the Power Hour. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means.
Yeah, I should be watching TV.
Yeah, you will be watching TV. We're doing this pre-Dynamite, so don't worry. You will not miss a moment of Dynamite tonight. You will not miss a moment of that fiasco in the cages. Watch that right after you watch this episode. Joining us tonight here, along with my partner, the urban sensation, the legendary C-Red, is the American Outlaw, Mr. Tyler Bodine. Or is it Bodine? You know, I never want to get it wrong, but we're going to go with whatever you want.
He gets everybody's name wrong.
I do.
So, I mean, you know.
It's Bodine. You had it right the first time.
Good. Tyler Bodine, a man that has been doing this little wrestling dance for quite a number of years now, and you've been going all over the damn place, man. I've seen you work at many a promotion here locally. Kind of take us back through, where you've been here locally. I know you worked at I think maybe you are even the Rocket Pro champion. Am I correct?
No, not anymore. I'm not.
I know there was a belt involved there somewhere.
Yeah. No, I lost that, but that's all right.
Who you lose that to?
I lost that to you know who I lost that to.
I know who you lost it to.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
That's what friends are for.
See, maybe I get these things wrong for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm just rubbing it in because one of my closest friends. So
he's a good dude. He deserves to be a champion. But
I don't know about all that.
Well, see, COVID kind of had his back though because he's technically the longest reigning intercounty champion. Because
hell, COVID got everybody that's got a belt's back because everybody the damn champ. So if you got a belt, everybody's taking claim. So I'm not trying to, throw salt into the wounds of anybody, but come on now,
True.
Oh, I'm the longest champ. Well, damn it, there ain't been no show.
Right, you haven't defended it anymore. Yeah, no, I hear you.
I hear you. What you did? Defended it in the bedroom? Well, at the Waffle House.
You got other people like Laney Luck from Zello Pro who had like a 600-day reign. Now, some of that was COVID, but a lot of that was just her.
Well, a lot of that was her, but again, still.
And I mean, you got a guy like the name of Joey Roth that he's been.
Well,
I don't think Joey Roth can be beaten.
That's like technically me and Miles are like. We're probably close to 900 days of tag team champions.
Nice.
But
urban sensation. That's why you're a sensation. 900 days.
No. I mean, it's like when's the next show? So when the company don't say we're folded, then and not saying that they have, but when you ask, so when's our next date? But anyway, Tyler, where have you been? Where have you been, sir?
So, man, I've been all over. I've been to Nebraska, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin. I just got back from a 2-day trip in Kansas a few weeks ago. I've been down to Missouri. I've been wrestling down there quite a bit. Pretty much all over the Midwest, man. I've traveled thousands and thousands of miles, get my name out there anywhere I can. I do a few local shows around here, but I do a lot of traveling as well.
So how do they receive you, when you come in? And talk to me about the character. I mean, you've been the Outlaw now for a while, and people really enjoy what you bring to the table locally. How has that character been received, as you've been wandering the U.S.?
So it's actually taken itself pretty well. I go to a lot of places and they don't know me from Adam. They don't know me from hole in the ground. But I go out, I portray my character well. I get a lot of heat. I piss off a lot of fans. I actually the company that I work for in Missouri, I had one of their big time sponsors, huge wrestling fan and a huge sponsor for them. He actually came up to me after the last show. He's like, I've never seen it. It's been a long time since I've seen a heel come out and security has to stand up and watch who he's going to piss off next. I mean, I do my job pretty well. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, I like your work. I've got by going to Kansas, I've got future bookings out in Colorado, down in Texas, Kentucky. So I mean, it's all over, man.
So you've been doing your thing now for a minute, and you've gotten to go around the world, and I think that's or around the U.S. anyway. And I think that's what people that have thrived in this business. I know C Red has told us his tales. He talks a lot about the times when he and the Soul Touches went to Philadelphia and places like that, and the reactions that they got. So it's kind of interesting, when you're a performer, when your reputation kind of precedes you. Is that kind of what's going on now? You've built it to the point where, when you show up at a show, they're like, oh my God, the Outlaw is here.
Yeah. I mean, not to portray me having an ego or anything, because I don't, but it's like, excuse me, when I do show up, I go, I play my heel character well. I've learned over the years how to basically piss the fans off without, being rude or obnoxious. I mean, I've got death threats. I've had a lady punch me before. That was fun. She was an old lady, so I mean, it didn't really hurt, but I just about it now.
But those are the best. I know
C Red's old man wanted to take a swing at some people. I love that. That's one of my favorite stories that Red's ever told when he was debuting, and the heat was so hot that his old man was looking to take out a few people in the defense of his son. That's such a great story.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, old people are fun to make me angry, and I mean, and a lot of the fans do know that, hey, it's part of the show. But then there's some fans that really get into it, and it's those people that you really got to watch out for, because they're ready to jump you in the parking lot.
Has that ever happened to you? I mean, obviously getting whacked by an elderly citizen is certainly a livable situation. But have you ever had an experience where you've been walking to your ride and somebody says, "Hey, boy," that kind of thing?
Yeah, most definitely. I've actually, it was down in Southern Illinois. I pissed off this old guy so bad, he told me he was going to blow my head off with a shotgun. And after the show, I'm walking out to my car, and he confronted me. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm going home." And he was drunk. He did. So, I mean, I was able to get him to go about his business, and I hopped in my car and drove home.
That's got to be a little I mean, like I said, in the wrestling business, you're an athlete and a character actor, and you're putting on the best show, and that the more heat you get, the better your paycheck. But it's that disconnect sometimes when it gets taken a little too seriously that you hear people can get really hurt. Red, you've been doing this a long time. Have that ever happened to you? Did you ever, get jumped in the parking lot, so to speak, by an overzealous fan? Have you ever had a reaction like that?
I don't think I got jumped in the parking lot. The worst one was did a show for SSW in Wisconsin, and they did a fair. So you have to go back to the show before that. So me, Jazz, Marche, and Willie were in Philly, but they were running a show also that weekend, and we were the tag champs. We couldn't defend them, but so how do we defend the titles without being there? Easy. We sent Trauma and we sent Diamond. So they defended the titles and they came out victorious. Well, fast forward the next month or two, and we needed a story. We needed something hot. So what better way than a husband to berate his wife in the middle of the ring? So when I say when I belittled her, I dogged her out. All that husbandly frustration that we always talk about, I got it all out, and told
Therapeutic, I bet.
I mean, so the funny part was, so it wound up going into a match. And again, I've never had a problem. So I put my at that point she was my wife. I put her over. So of course now you gotta understand all this fare is mixed with moms and wives and girlfriends, and they go ballistic. They're like, whoa, okay, whatever. But I had talked so bad about women. We go to the back, and like the locker room was like this little barn or something, shed. And we're in there, and we're talking about, oh, that was fun, because we had a tag match leading into that. So like we had 2 matches back to back. We didn't get to leave the ring. So, we're talking about, oh, we had this great tag match, and then we go into the singles match and we had a great time. Everybody's just laughing and kicking it. And then somebody says, hey, Red, there's a group of women that want to see you. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, they want autographs. I walk out and they're like ready to whoop my ass, like badly. And I'm not talking about 5 or 6. It's like at least 15 to 20 women that are ready to whoop my ass.
Man, you had the entire PTA of that city after you.
Dude, it was funny, because then it was like, this shit is real. Like, they're heated. So when the main event went on, me, Diamond, I think Trauma rolled with me. I'm not sure who else. It might have just been the 3 of us, but I think it was somebody else. I think it was Marche. Like, we literally, like, I know me, I had to like duck down behind the crowd and like get the fuck out of there. Like, right. They were looking for me. And it was like, the promoter at SSW, great guy. He was like, dude, I'm paying you now because you can't stay to the end of the show. You can't like come out and, sign autographs and all that. You've got too much heat. So I was like,
that's not a bad thing.
And I've got flip-flops on, and like Marche is cracking jokes because my flip-flops keep falling off, and I'm just trying to get the hell up out of there. I'm like, so, when you watch different things, like, I don't know if you guys have been watching A&E biographies, or you watch Dark Side of the Ring, when sometimes fans can be unruly, and Tyler, I applaud you, because drunk or not, dude, you come at me, I get it. You have to be respectful, to these people, but at the same time, they have to give this respect back, and also understand that, we're here to entertain you.
Sure.
Yes, we're professionals, but regardless to what I do in character, in the ring, on the stick, that's one thing. But dude, if you see me in the parking lot and you come up to me and I feel like I'm gonna be threatened, I'm fucking you up. I'm just being honest. I'm not gonna take that chance, and dude told you he had a shotgun. So I wouldn't even, I'd have been like 911 at that point. Like, y'all come get his drunk ass.
The problem was this town had like 50 people in the entire town. I mean, all they have is professional wrestlers. So we for at least a half hour out. So, I mean, I stood there and fought. And I probably would have, I could have easily knocked him down and been out of there before the cops arrived, but I just wanted to try to let the situation, ease the situation, just get the hell out of there as fast as I could.
And sometimes that's the best thing you can do,
Yeah.
you know. So
I every now and again I'll still get somebody that will message me hate for destroying GPW a few years back, which is it makes me laugh every time I get.
you know what? Here's the thing, some fans are just assholes. You know, and you know, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody that's watching this, because 9 times out of 10 I'm not talking about you. But some people, first of all, some people just want to complain just to complain.
No
That's
doubt.
how they are in real life. So it doesn't matter if we put on a stellar show, every match is 5-star, and the building is packed to the rafters and people are hanging out the windows and all of that. One person is going to complain. Oh, it was too hot. They had 8 matches. They should have had 10. The popcorn was stale. The bathroom urinals were out of order. Something. And a lot of times it ain't got to do with you. They just miserable in their own life. So
some fans, they aren't happy unless they're bitching.
Basically. So, you know, I mean, Steve, come on now. You already know that. So when you get messages like that,
a small novel on it, actually.
You know, you could, but you know, when you deal with fans like that, I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, you know, because
most of the time, you know, you feel pretty good about it when someone hates you enough that you're occupying that much space in their head. It means you're doing a good job. That means you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for the company you're working for.
Very true.
Tyler, you're moving around now. You are repping some gold. I've seen some photos of you lately getting ready to defend. So why don't you tell me where you're at right now and who you're the champion of and why?
So actually, I'm not a current champion right now.
What? I must have old pictures.
Yeah, there's an old picture. I was one half the tag team champions at Wrestling Extreme.
And who?
Powerhouse Wrestling Extreme. You know,
okay.
Jimmy Smooth.
Okay.
Yeah. I was one half of their tag team champions. But
I'm just saying.
Come on, C Red.
But
it's nothing against Tyler or his partner. Just
me and my tag partner, we lost the straps to Youth Gone Wild at the last show.
Well, at least okay. I can deal with that. I mean, you might not care, but that first show, that's all I'm gonna say. Jesus. Just okay.
I got you.
You know, I love the fact that you're moving around so much. And I remember back in October, when we were doing our thing in Michigan City, I remember you and a certain manager were out there checking that out. And I couldn't help but think to myself, what does this mean?
So Mr. John Park and I, we traveled the roads quite a lot of miles together. And back in the show in Michigan City, we were just scouting some talent. John Bullard puts on a hell of a show. I mean, that man puts on a hell of a show. You know, someday I hope to be able to wrestle for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. But yeah, no, me and Mr. Park, we just decided, you know, we buy our ticket and scout some talent that night.
I remember, you know, obviously it's well documented now that our commentary live that night didn't take, and Joey Roth and I had to go back in and redo it for Amazon Prime and all the streaming services. But that night when we were there live, I mean, obviously, you know, we're in the stands and, you know, we're in the commentary, we can see everything. And I think Joey and I both saw you and Mr. Park at the same time. And we're like, what the hell are they doing here? And we're on commentary going, what does this mean? What's going to happen? Is the American Outlaw going to jump in the ring and beat somebody up? So had we got that live commentary that we did, you would have been figured prominently in one of the matches, because we were saying, hey, is he going to make his presence felt in that big championship match. So, unfortunately, when we were looking at the videotape and calling the matches after the fact, it was more of just the in-ring shot. We didn't get good shots of the crowd that we could react to. So it kind of got away from us. But I remember there at that night, I thought we were going to have a Scott Hall moment where you were going to get in the ring and say, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
That would have been, and that, that may happen down the road. There's, I know, Scarlet's got a show coming up in in about a month, ain't it?
I know, the urban sensation, strapping on the boots, lacing them up with the tight. Yeah. He's gonna make sweet love to a small to a young lady that is gonna probably kick him in the face.
Ain't happening. Face too pretty, baby. Face is too pretty.
I have a lot of respect for C-Red. He goes back a ways. Sometime C-Red, I wouldn't mind lacing up the boots.
Oh, hell no. You kiss my ass. You ain't fucking me up.
I said I have to fuck you up.
See, the difference is, you might as well tell the story. And I'll let you tell the story because it's your story to tell. But the Tyler Bodine that's in front of us is not the Tyler Bodine. So that Tyler Bodine, I wouldn't have worried about it. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, he bigger. But yeah, no, nah.
Yeah.
Again, I keep telling y'all, I'm crazy. I ain't stupid. So
he says that more than once a show. That's actually true.
So I already know when to pick and choose my battles. So
I'm hoping
next month
that.
ain't nothing but a little some dude that don't know if he want to be a Jedi or a Mandarin, whatever he want to be, and then a little crackhead Cambodian little boy.
Oh no!
That he can't even fight.
John
for his woman, he got to put his woman in. Who puts their woman in the fight? Like, that's like you go out to the club.
You did.
No, you go out to the club. I didn't put that in there. That contract came to me that way. Anyway, that's like, when you go out, Tyler, and somebody bump into you or they bump into your lady and you ask for an apology. Hey, say, excuse me, say you sorry. And then, she fights the fight instead of you, sure. She lays the knockout punch. And everybody looking at you is like, well, what she got you for? So I'm trying to figure out, why she got him if she got to fight his battles too and us.
Well, I mean, have you seen the size of him? I mean, she definitely wears the pants.
He that big. He that big.
Hey, that's
hold on. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. The Cambodian, whatever his name is. There you go. Right.
Yoya, the Cambodia. Okay, to Yoya and Janai Kai and Braven Fett. The opinions of some of the hosts and guests on this show do not necessarily reflect me. I have enough trouble. I have enough trouble with paragons. So let's just.
But go ahead, Tyler. I'll let you tell the story of how we met. So because Steve don't know that. He didn't know that.
I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Stories are why we're here.
We're talking about Dreamwave.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, me and so I trained with Mustafa Ali at the very first and to this day the only Ali Wrestling Academy, Dreamwave Wrestling in LaSalle, Illinois. C-Red was there as a manager, managing Marche, and that's how we met. And then eventually, I went to do my own thing. C-Red disappeared.
I didn't disappear. I just didn't come back down to LaSalle for a while.
Yeah, but
I stayed local.
Sure.
Gas is expensive, man. Do you know?
Yeah, it is.
But no, here's the thing, and Tyler might not remember this, but he was one of the guys that I kind of you see the heart of a person, So a lot of people don't understand. So like Dreamwave, and again, I've kind of talked about it a little bit. after we would have our meetings again, we've got at least like 3.5 hours to kill before showtime. At least 3 hours before doors open. So, you know, a lot of that time Ali would use with the students, you know, to if guys weren't going over their matches, he used that time with the guys and they would practice, you know, or even beforehand, they would get there again. They're there at 11, 12, whatever time, and they're rolling around when we got there. You know, so to see Tyler and to see like he wasn't one of those guys that, you know, easily got frustrated. You know, if he messed up some, you know, he took criticism well, and he went right back at it and he tried to improve, and you could just see the heart and determination in this guy. So it made me, you know, not only just have a bond with him later, but you know, it just made me respect him all the more because again, Steve, you've been doing this for a couple of years. So I'm sure you've seen guys come and go. You know, it's funny. I think about all the time. Crash tested 2.0 by the time I got there, and how many guys were still around from the 1.0 version?
Right.
You know, and that's just one company. You know, so over my career, I've seen guys come and go. Now, again, the guys that have realized, you know, this is time consuming, my heart really ain't in it. You know, I have respect for them because they walked away, you know, for whatever reason. You know, the guys I get sick of are the guys that think they're entitled, and because they don't get what they want, then they walk away, you know, and it's like, really? Y'all got a couple of them in CSW. I'm glad they not around no more. But yeah, I got all the respect for Tyler because again, he just showed me you know, this is what, you know, he was cut out to do, you know, and he's still doing it. So much respect. If I had my hat, tip it to you, sir.
Thank you, Seward. That means a lot coming from you. Seriously, man. Thank you. Thank you.
I remember the first time I met you. I forget the promotion that we were at. But you know, you're a big person. You're what JR always refers to as a hoss, man that's in a hoss match, and
Sure.
you portray a character very effectively. But talking to you out of character, there's a certain warmth that's very appealing. I think C-Red hit on that. And you can just tell. I mean, like I said, I've been doing it long enough now, and I've been in enough companies to know who's going to stick and who's just you know, coming in for a cup of coffee and going to be gone the next day. You're one of those guys that, you know, you lead in a locker room. People like you. People gravitate toward you. And you know, like I said, you know, I echo what C-Red says for sure. What are your memories of C-Red? You know, back because C-Red, you know, C-Red wouldn't bring this up if something didn't happen.
Didn't nothing happen?
No.
No.
I mean, C-Red obviously is a veteran in the business. And when I first started, he was a veteran as well. So, I mean, his advice, I got good advice from him, Marche, Nick Brubaker, another guy I got good advice from. And I'm the kind of guy, like, I take, you know, I'm green as grass at that point. And any criticism, constructive criticism, I was willing to take and learn from it. Because I wanted to get better and I wanted to improve myself. And if you don't take constructive criticism and you don't improve, then you're not going to go very far in this business. I mean, we're all green at one point. C-Red was green at one point. I was obviously green at one point. And
I'm still green.
And without the constructive criticism from guys, from veterans like C-Red, Marche, Brubaker, Hades, and of course Ali, I wouldn't have been able to improve the way that I have without their help. So, I mean, I'm forever grateful for guys like that in the business that are willing to take a green kid under their wing and help them to improve their. And nowadays, when I go into business, I don't care if it's the kid's first match or if he's a 30-year veteran. I respect everybody. I shake their hands. I have a conversation. I'm not one of them guys, and like I've had matches with kids that this is their first or second match. And yeah, we make mistakes. But what I was learned is, you make a mistake in the match, you go back, you don't obviously, blow up at them, you don't cuss it, but you sit down and you talk like civilized conversation, hey, let's work, we can work on this, this is what should have happened, but didn't. And, that's what I really, took from guys like I said, C-Red, Hades, Brubaker, Ali, Marche, true respectful men in this business that are willing to take a green kid under their wing and help them succeed. I'm forever grateful.
Well, you just named some of what I consider to be wrestling royalty. Obviously, C-Red, I'm lucky enough to get to do this show with him on a weekly basis. And I'm never not learning when he's talking. You always listen to the way he tells his stories, because that's what wrestling is. It's us trying to tell stories. And if we didn't have stories to tell, why be here? So, it's great to learn and have a mentor like him. But then you talk about Marche Rocket, who I've been, I've been watching him for years, and the fact that, he'll come in and give advice from time to time to help me get better is amazing. And, I've been working under Hades's wing for a couple of years now, and Hades has given me some incredibly savvy advice. And Brubaker is a fountain of knowledge. All you have to do is listen to. Now, Brubaker doesn't talk a lot, but when Brubaker does tell you something, you damn well better listen, because there's a purpose behind it. And you've mentioned some real royalty here in the Midwest, names that when you hear a name like that, you're like, oh, Hades. Well, you know where he's been, you know what he's done. Same thing with Marche, and obviously Marche's on NWA and doing good things now. Was on Impact for a while, and Brubaker, Brubaker is everywhere. You need someone that
Brubaker needs to be on TV. It's a shame that he's not. He needs to be on
no
TV.
doubt about that. No doubt. It's been a crime. He was on Impact for a little while, but not nearly long enough. The man is a superstar and one of the best at the business. Period.
Absolutely.
Wrestling is great, and we love it, and I'm happy, Tyler, that you're thriving right now. You and Mr. Park causing chaos wherever you go, and we're gonna have John Park on this show at some point. Maybe I'll bring you guys back together on a day he's not working, because I like that dynamic. I think C-Red, I'm spoiled because C-Red, one of the goats when it comes to managers in this business. Park is doing for you what C-Red has done for so many, so I think he's very entertaining.
And I know I could speak from Mr. John Park that he's actually gotten advice from C-Red. He's actually, I believe at the last Chicagoland show, he took C-Red aside and asked him some questions. So I mean, he's learning from one of the best. There's no doubt about it.
You learn from a man that not only has done it in the ring, but has shown prowess and being a master manipulator on the outside of the ring. You watch what he does at some shows, and you think cheating is not an art form. C-Red is like Picasso when it comes to that, but that's neither here nor there. That's a story for another show entirely. We all love wrestling, and Red has been in there for a long time. You've been in it quite a while. I've been in it not quite as long. But we all share something in common outside of the business. C-Red has been one for a long time. I have been one for a while now. And in just a few days, you are going to be one. You and your lovely wife are expecting your first child, a daughter, in about 10 days. Very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Kind of speak on how wrestling is going to fit in with fatherhood.
You better hope it's a girl.
Well, me and my wife are having a girl.
You sure about that?
I'm positive. We had the tests and everything done, and
I'm just saying, dude, to this day, and I only bring this up because my oldest, I'll never forget, me and my first wife, we're sitting there, we go through all the tests, and we can't tell, and so y'all don't know, in the African American culture, I don't know how they came up, but all these folks that came up with pennies on bellies and all kind of stuff of how you can tell if it's a boy or a girl, the way the woman is carrying the baby, all kind of stuff. And then the doctor finally said, "Yeah, well, I think I'm pretty certain it's a boy." Bet. Cool. So for 3 days she was in labor. Finally, the day is here. Yes, she's here. Here the baby come. Yes, and I'm holding her hand. I'm steady as a rock. You got this. So first of all, our original doctor was not there, and we get a little short Asian doctor. Just blew my mind. Like,
Was
what?
it Yo-Yo's dad?
Oh no, you didn't. Tyler,
He could have been. He could have been. He could have been.
On behalf of the executive producers of this show, the opinions
We
of
are the executive producers.
yeah, that's right. Continue.
Anyway, I'm like, yes, and he like, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Oh no, come on, man.
Yes, sir. Go. Send it back.
John Scott literally just shit himself right now, and this is deleted from Johnner's podcast network.
I'm just saying, and I'm just because you had again to sit there for six months and believe I'm having a boy, and for that little Asian doctor to tell me it was a girl, like my heart broke. My third daughter, I didn't even make it that far. I signed her in. By the time I signed her in and was walking back so I could get dressed, they were like, "Oh, congratulations, it's a girl." Huh? I didn't even want to know with that one. I was like, it's gonna be a boy. Nope, nope. So I mean, first of all, I pray the baby, regardless of whether it's a girl or a boy, pray to God that the baby is healthy and is perfectly well. But I don't trust doctors. I don't trust ultrasounds. I don't trust nothing until the baby come out. And okay, all right. It is.
No,
so you're checking the plumbing when it comes out.
I got to, dude. I got to.
I hope, for everyone's sake, it is a girl, because my mom, this would be her first grandchild, and literally as soon as she found out that my wife was pregnant, went and bought a bunch of girl clothes. I mean, the closet's already full. We got a lot of pink stuff, so I'm really hoping it's a girl.
I hope so too. Otherwise, you got to repaint that room.
Sometimes there's what they call mystical grandma logic. Sometimes it travels through the ether, and they know stuff well before we do. So
again, but could you imagine he has a boy and he doesn't have time to repaint the room, and the baby the first night is in the crib and he's like,
"Why is everything pink?" Yeah.
And then the baby won't stop crying because it's pink.
Right. Yeah, no, but I'm super excited, man. My whole life I wanted to be a dad, and like you said, we us performers, wrestlers, managers, we do have a life outside the business.
We do.
The business is obviously the business is my life, but I also have a life outside my life. And to be a first-time father is just I'm super excited. I couldn't be more happy. May 18th, my wife goes in for a scheduled C-section, and hopefully at 8 a.m. that morning we'll have a little girl. I'm hoping a little girl.
Do we have a name picked out for the young lady?
Yes, our little girl will be named Brenna Aubrey.
Brenna?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Beautiful name. Beautiful name.
It's great. Obviously, I'm sure C Red remembers. He just told you some stories. I remember those days, leading up to the birth of my son, and everything that all the thoughts that go through your head, all the trepidations. Am I going to do a good job? Am I going to be good enough? Can I do this? Should I be doing this? You get. It's very not you, Red. You were like, I got this.
No, just after the first one, it was just like, oh, now, yeah, I had those same feelings with the first one. I must admit, I was excited, but then it was like, damn, I'm gonna be a dad. Like, what do you do? But I think first of all, I'm gonna tell you this right now, Tyler, because ain't nobody ever told you this. So I'm telling you now.
There you go.
I'm dropping knowledge on you.
And this has got nothing to do with a turnbuckle.
There are no manuals when it comes to being a father.
What did I say while we were waiting for C Red this evening? There is not a damn manual. You will never know what the hell you're doing. All you
it ain't even about that. Here's the thing. Everybody and their mama is about to give you advice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody under the sun. You and your wife that's it. You do what's best for your child. That's it. Everybody can say, oh, well, when I had you, I did this. And, when I had your cousin, Dude, you two figure out what's the best way to raise your child, and you go from there. Because they don't come with damn instruction books. I wish they did. Because otherwise, if they did, I have a PhD shit. But clearly they don't.
Right.
And it's dude, let me just tell you, it's gonna be some highs and it's gonna be some lows. What you have to hold on to is it's gonna be the minor things, dude. It's gonna be the minor things. But it's the best feeling in the world. Trust me. You said the 18th, right?
Yeah, the 18th.
When the 18th hits, and it might be 8 o'clock, might be 1 o'clock. That part you can't really,
right.
Yeah. But when it happens, it will be. There's no title. I don't give a damn who's watching.
I agree with this.
There is no title. Or I should say there's no belt.
No belt.
That you can ever hold that will make you feel better than the first time you hold your own child. That is that first moment you cherish and you hold on to forever.
And that's why they hold the belts over their shoulders, because it's like
holding a baby.
It's like putting the child up there. You're burping.
No, that's just lazy shit. That's lazy shit.
I know that's what I've.
I mean, I'm just saying, dude. When we grew up, they wore the belt. They wore it. Wasn't no, I put it over my shoulder or I drag it on the ground. Or, no, you wore it. You want it. You wear it. But now it's oh, okay. But anyway, that's a different subject. But again, Tyler, just take the moments and just enjoy them, because like I said, you're gonna have some high moments, and which we can get into now because you talked to Bob Evans. Take his advice, dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
See, I had nobody when I came in to tell me there's a balance. And I had to try to figure it out on my own.
Sure.
This guy is out there telling people now, which I honestly think other veterans should have told people before now.
No doubt.
You can have a balance. Now, again, I've seen guys that want to be in WWE, in companies of that nature. And again, I tell people, if that's what you want, that's fine. But that takes a lot of sacrifice. Me, when I started, again, I was already old, so that kind of wasn't in my head. But I always said if Vince ever gave me that call, I couldn't accept. I couldn't be away from my kids. And again, my kids are, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And even now, if he gave that call, my kids are grown except for one. I couldn't do it. My grandkids are here. I couldn't be away from my family that long. And I mean, my family as a whole. So, but you listen to somebody that gave you great advice. So please tell us, what was that experience with Bob Evans like?
So
And not the sausage people.
Uncle Bob, Brutal Bob, the one and only Bob.
Yeah, but do you know I had somebody message me and they were like, "Is that the sausage guy?"
There are just people out there that really
no clue.
have no clue.
Dude, I told you what I did. I told you. I just let me see. Block, then delete. Okay, so.
So that was the first time I'd ever met Bob. Was a few weekends ago about Kansas. And he hit it off right away. He gave me sound advice. I was me being a bigger guy. When I do frog splash in the ring, I would always jump to do, or not frog splash, but vice splash in the corner. And he said, "Run right on through him. You're a big guy. Bulldoze the hell out of him. Run right through him." And then when I told him about I'm gonna be a dad soon, and he congratulated me, gave me a hug, and pretty much told me the same thing you guys did. There's no manual. He gave me a lot of advice. Very supportive. He's one of the greatest guys to learn from, and an even better human being. I mean, Bob is a great guy. He gave me great advice in the wrestling ring and how to be a father. And he, as far as balancing, he said, you're gonna have being a wrestler. I mean, obviously you're on the road a lot. You're gonna be away from your family. You're gonna be away from your kids. But always know that family comes first. Luckily, I have a very supportive wife, and she's ready to evict this child, basically. And because she wants to take our daughter, and she wants to go on the road with me. She wants to travel with me to my shows with our daughter. So I'm very looking forward to that. And basically, before my daughter can talk, she'll be at a wrestling show watching her daddy do what he does. So
you never know, when they go to these shows when they're really young, the noise and the fan service and everything that goes on, it kind of trickles into the bloodstream a little bit. I've met along the way children of wrestlers, and they just have this, there's just something about them it's like they have it, it's intuitive with them. Some of them go on to be in-ring performers, some don't. But it's interesting that the children of wrestlers and the stories they tell. It's pretty cool.
And it's funny that you bring up the fact, the noise. So the last show that I did that my wife was able to attend, it's loud. The fans are going crazy, and Brenda's kicking the inside of her because she likes the noise. She likes the so I think she's gonna enjoy it and have fun. So.
Maybe she was like, "Get me out of here so I can grab that steel chair and go help my pop."
Right. Yeah. I was getting jumped by 3 guys at that time. So
like, let me at him.
Right.
That's cool.
It's I'm really excited to be a dad, man. And like you said earlier, C-Red, there's not a championship belt in the entire world that I could win that would mean more to me than being a dad.
Being a dad is one of those things. It's immensely satisfying, but it's harrowing and it's unpredictable. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes, you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you don't. And everything you do affects this little person. And, you hope along the way that you teach them a thing or two and they learn a thing or two that serves them well as they go. You can't live their life for them. And that took quite a few years to really kind of understand and adapt. And, I listened to Bob Evans when he was on our show, and within the first 10 minutes of that show, you had thought that he and C-Red had traveled the roads in the same car for a decade. I was completely unnecessary for that show, but that happens often. So that's not something I'm not used to. But you can see when people that have traveled the same roads, they get onto a subject where they're completely on the same page. and the stories start flowing. And that's why we do this show. You know, there are plenty of podcasts out there where, you know, people talk about wrestling and what's going on. Me, I like to bring people on here like you that have a story to tell. And, you know, your story is great. I mean, you're a guy that's busted his ass, and you're a guy that's worked hard to have the opportunity to travel around the country doing what you love to do. But all the while, you know, you've wanted to be a father, and now here you are at the threshold of a dream. And I think that tells a great story about you. So now you're on that doorstep. It's just a few days in realistic terms, and it's here. What about that experience do you think that you're most excited about? I mean, there are so many trees to that, so many branches to that tree, but what are you looking forward to the most?
Definitely holding her in my arms for the first time, and just looking down her like, wow, my whole life I wanted this, and here she is, and be the most beautiful thing in the world. I mean, I'm over.
You're getting a little choked up right now.
You hear all in it, all up in here.
Man.
He's a badass, and he's ringing that bell, and John Park's going, "You're going down," but here he is. We're getting a little verklempt up in the power hour here.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, no, and I'm overjoyed, man. I couldn't be happier. And pro wrestling has not many people know, but pro wrestling actually saved my life back in 2018. I had been in the business for 8 years at that point, and was actually previously engaged. And we had a wedding date set and everything. Well, things happened, and she proceeded to run off with another wrestler. And I'm pretty sure you guys both know who he is, but I'm not going to mention no names. But it really affected me hard. I mean, it hit me hard. I was in a dark place, and I tried to overdose twice in the year 2018. And the second time that I was taken by ambulance to the hospital, my uncle came in, and pardon my language, but he said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Those were his exact words. If the shit's watching, I apologize for my.
Yep.
Okay. And he's like, "What's one thing that you love the most in this world?" And at that point, obviously I was single. I didn't have no, and I said professional wrestling. And I did. I love professional wrestling. And he's like, "That's what you need to focus on." And from that point forward, professional wrestling has been my life. It saved my life. Without professional wrestling, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys. It allowed me to meet my current wife. It allowed me, to be a father here in a few weeks. So I mean, I don't know anything or professional wrestling doesn't owe me anything. I owe everything to professional wrestling. Professional wrestling saved my life.
You are not the first person that I've heard say that, and you're in some pretty good company in which wrestling, in one form or fashion, pulled you out of bad spots. C-Red has told his story many times. We were at Melinda's Bar and Grill doing our special with the family, and he said some very powerful things I didn't know. And it was a very powerful episode. I've heard John Bullard talk about situations in which this business and people in this business kept him out of harm's way more than a time or two. It's funny, in a business that can be so divisive and so full of shit at times, that there are some people that say, well, that might be true, but without it, I wouldn't be here. And I think that's a side of the business that gets overlooked from time to time is the healing power, the power of the locker room, the power of the interaction with the fans, the power of the camaraderie in the ring, the power of the storytelling. And when you crumple that all together, what it does to you as a human being can actually be healing. And I've heard C. Red talk about the healing aspects of wrestling many times. So the fact that it saved you benefits all of us, because if you weren't here, the business wouldn't be as interesting. You know, you bring a lot of shine to this business, and we appreciate you for what you do. And now you get to pass on what you've learned to a whole new generation on the 18th. So
I do.
He won't be dropping big elbows from the top rope, but you know, some of what wrestling teaches you and has taught C. Red and has taught me are lessons that you can pass along, father to daughter, father to son. So wish you a lot of luck and a lot of love with that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Before we let you go, I want to ask you one question. I usually do the where I rapid fire, where I throw a couple of names at you for wrestlers, but I don't want to do that today. I want to do something else. You've had a great career. You've had a great career. Come on. Here's the funny part.
I love C-Red's expressions.
You've had a great career. You've done a lot of cool things. You've had some triumph. You've had some tribulation. And now here you are on the precipice of a brand new challenge in fatherhood. True. I want to know what's Tyler Bodine's end game? Where do you want to go? Where do you see this going?
I want to have as much fun as I can. I want to travel all over the country. And my goal before I hang up the boots, whether it be 40 years from now, I want to wrestle at least one time in every single state in America. I don't know of anybody that's ever been able to do that, but I want to be that guy. I don't care if it's one time. I want to wrestle in every single state in America. That is my main goal.
Is that possible? Like, does North Dakota have wrestling?
I think they have a show here and there.
I'm not making fun of what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, there's certain states. If you tell me that it's a wrestling show going on, I'm going.
Right. Yeah. No. And there may be some fairs that hire a company from a different state, come in and do a show. Yeah. No. That's. I mean, I would love to be AEW, NWA, or Impact. And I've reached out to AEW a few times. Obviously I would love to be on TV. But I mean, if I can, show my daughter the business and have her travel, I mean, as soon as she's walking, she's probably gonna be walking in a wrestling ring. But being able to wrestle in every single state in America, that's my main goal, or at least close to it. He's wrestled in 48 states. That's the closest I've ever seen anybody. So, I mean, that's my goal, though.
That's a pretty impressive goal. That's bold ambition, but you're still a young man. You got a lot of years left. That's
right. You got time.
And it'll be great because little Brenna at 12 years old will be breaking down rings probably.
Yes, she's gonna learn. I mean, she's gonna pay her dues. She's gonna learn exactly what I did when I was a little green kid, setting up a ring, tearing down a ring. She's gonna be a strong little girl.
Could you guys be the first ever father-daughter tag team? You never know.
That would be cool. I don't think that's ever. Yeah.
If it's been done, I've never seen it, but I'm not to say that it hasn't, but that would be a cool thing. Talking about that here.
Ric Flair. Go ahead, sorry.
Talking about it 2 weeks before her birth, putting you in a tag team with her. I mean, Flair and Charlotte, I guess maybe that. Red, did they ever hook up and do anything in the ring? I don't think so. Did they?
I don't think they've ever done in the ring. No. And I mean, it's not. I think now it's not uncommon. I just think most of the time, I mean, like we're getting this storyline with Ray and his son. So I think people don't understand that there's a joy when your child takes on your passion. My daughter Jasmine, her whole high school career, she was a cheerleader. So she's Miss Prissy. I'm a cheerleader. And because they let go of the cheer coach in her senior year, like threw everything off. And it was like, wow, really? You know, and I wasn't really looking for like scholarships or anything. It was just the fact that, you know, okay, her dream is pretty much shot. This chick decides to join the wrestling team.
That's
And it like blew my mind. And I mean, so she was already like the,
Damn.
you know, she was the assistant coach, you know, or, you know, she was that student that, you know, traveled with the team, you know, like in her junior year, but nothing really, you know, she got the water bottles or whatever, you know.
right.
So when she decided to actually join the team in her senior year, and not only did she compete, but went all the way to state. And she either took second or third that year. And it was like it just blew my mind because it's like, chick, you been doing this your whole life, and now you wait when we could have, you know,
And now, everybody, I want to introduce you to She-Red.
no, oh no. But it was just there was this pride that when she told me, you know, and you know, none of my other daughters, trust me, will ever and even my grandsons, one of them, he needs to be in the ring now. He got too much damn energy. But you'll you know, regardless, you'll have a blast. It's funny. And I might have told this story before. Jasmine, so again, Jasmine was one of those wrestling kids. I would try to take all my kids as possible, but Jasmine, mostly Jasmine and my other daughter, Shauna, took, they were the wrestling babies, especially Shauna. Shauna was a baby. So they were the kids that were there. So we did a show for CSW when CSW first started, like probably the second or third show, something like that. And Jasmine wound up having to sell merch. Wow, with her sister, her other sister, my daughter, probably all my daughters were there. I think so. But they're selling merch. There's a baby in the car seat, and they're trying to deal with her. And she's also selling Ali's merchandise.
Oh, wow.
So no big deal, right? Okay. Fast forward years later, and before she moved, she was working in the suburbs, and she's in a restaurant, and she hears like this couple behind her. So she turns around, and this was pre-COVID, and she looks, and she says, "Don't I know you?" And he was like, "Don't I know you?" And she was like, "I'm C Red's daughter." And he said, "Jasmine." He said, "You're the one that when you were a little girl, you sold my shirts for me." And they got to talking and catching up and all of that. But you know, they remember people.
Sure.
You know, to this day, all my girls call Uncle Jazz, Uncle Marche. You know, it is what it is.
Uncle
You know,
Willie?
well, let's not even get started. Where is Willie? We're gonna, you know, where's Waldo? Where's Willie? You know, let's do that.
This has been one hell of a fun show. Tyler,
but here's the crazy part. I'm like excited that he's getting ready to have a baby.
Me too.
And it's like, no, I mean, like, I'm genuinely excited. Like, damn. Like, I'm in this chair, like, Tyler's getting ready to have a baby. You know, like we're gonna be the godfathers, right? Like, Tyler's having a baby.
Uncle C Red and Uncle Steve.
We'll take it.
Dude,
Brenda will be one of our first baby guests.
Anyway, so
Yep.
Might as well.
Tyler, we wish you all the best in
Thank
the
you.
journey that you have ahead. Savor every moment. They go by too damn quick. I congratulate you and your wife. It's going to be a tremendous
Appreciate it.
experience.
Thank you.
And then once you know you back in the ring and you're doing your thing, I hope we'll get a chance to come watch you. Maybe I'll get to do commentary for you at some point somewhere.
Sure.
And like I said, if you and Mr. Park show up one of these shows in Chicagoland, we'll be looking for you.
Dude, you know what we should do? You know how you said we should get him and Parks on the show? He's got to bring. The only way Tyler's allowed on the show is that he's got to hold the baby the entire time.
There you go. We'll bring Tyler
now,
and Mr. Park and
now
little
I will
back.
I'll put an asterisk by that that if she starts crying,
Red would be
Uncle Red
don't
do no crying babies. I just even my grandsons, I'd be like, "Ooh, go to your mama." But dude, I am so excited for you. Again, nothing but love and respect. Again, from your days of training down at Dreamwave with Ali to all the things you've done now. And I'm happy that you're doing the one thing that most guys in this business don't do, and that's travel. Because again, you're whether it's a one and done or somebody is bringing you back multiple times, dude, you're doing it. And that's what it's about. If you don't get out there, you know, you can't keep wrestling the same locker room for 20 years. You just can't. So
absolutely.
So I'm proud of you. I'm happy to call you friend, happy to call you brother. And in 13 days, I will be happy to call you Papa. So,
thank you, C-Red. That means a lot coming from you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Papa Bodine been on this show. We want to thank Tyler for taking time out tonight. Your stories are fantastic. We look forward to seeing what you do, both as a dad and both in the ring. Next week on the Power Hour, our guest will be All Day Marche Rocket, Mr. NWA. So don't miss it.
On what day?
That's next Tuesday. That's next Tuesday.
How can you be in two places?
It's kayfabe. It's kayfabe, babe.
Oh.
All right. On behalf of the Urban Sensation C-Red, on behalf of the American Outlaw Tyler Bodine, I'm Steve Arrett. This has been the Power Hour. We will see you next week, and let's hook them some horns, baby. Good night, everybody.
The Papa Outlaw.
Tyler, say horns up.
Horns up.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
Hey, the Papa Outlaw.